guys, it's Kim. Welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to share with you guys my 23andMe results. I shared on my Instagram page a few weeks ago that I was finally sending in my DNA, and that way I can get started on this whole journey. I actually received this as a gift last Christmas from my parents, and it is the kit that shows you your ancestry and your health and traits, supposedly, through your DNA. So I finally went ahead and did that. Before I go into those reports, I just wanted to give you a little bit of background about where I think I'm from. So according to my dad's family originates from Germany and Sweden. And then on my mom's side, supposedly there's some English roots and then some Native American roots in the Cherokee tribe. So I'm interested to see if those are true and if there's anywhere else that maybe my family is from that we didn't know about. I'm also really interested to learn about my health, as you guys know, and I talk about here and there. I do have lupus, and so I'm interested to see how that plays a part in my health, if there's any factors that may play a part of that, as well as some fun traits. I know they have some reports where supposedly with your DNA it can see if you have a widow's peak, freckles, things like that. So I'm interested to see what that says and see if it's true. So I do have my computer right here behind you guys, so if you see me look to the side, that's where I'm looking at. Alright, so I am recording my screen, so hopefully this will work, and that way you guys can see what I'm looking at as I'm talking to you guys. So I'm going to start with my ancestry. Let's see what it says. I'm really interested to see. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and scroll down and see the results or the report. Okay, so here's the summary. Definitely European, that's for sure. 99.6 European. That is not surprising at all. So 92.2% is Northwestern European, and out of that 92%, 35.4% Scandinavian, which is Sweden and Norway. Interesting. I didn't hear about Norway. And supposedly it says Värmland County. That is definitely new to me. I'm trying to see if there's shows of 13 regions. Oh wow, so it actually shows the different counties within Sweden. That is really interesting. I'm not going to say these counties just because I don't want to butcher these names. So I'm just gonna go back. It says I am 11.5 British and Irish, so United Kingdom and Ireland, and 14 other regions. Let's go ahead and see that. I did not know anything about Ireland, so that's pretty cool. So different counties, very cool. And Ireland looks like it's a possible match. Wow, that is so cool. Okay, let's see what else. So I am 11% German, so that goes with my father's side. I'm gonna click on that. So it kind of gives a little background. Interesting. Okay, so I'm not going to go into all of this just because, you know, this could be a very long video if I go into all of that. I am supposedly 4.5% Finnish, and then 29.8 broadly Northwestern European. So this is just broadly, they can't dissect, but it's broadly Northwestern European. Interesting. Okay, and then 4.7% Southern European, which is Spanish and Portuguese. That's cool. I did not know about that. See, this is so exciting because I kind of know about my family's history and how they got here, but there's some holes. So it's interesting to see where that plays a part. From what I know, my mom's dad came from England, and he came to the US My dad's grandfather came from Sweden, and my dad's mother's family came from Germany, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I know that she is German. So let me scroll down and see. There is 0.3% of trace ancestry. I don't know what that means. And then 0.3% Egyptian, Coptic Egyptian. Now it's interesting, on my mom's side, her uncle's wife and her family is from Egypt. So that is interesting. I've always been really fascinated with Egypt, and that was my favorite place in school as far as learning about history. So that is interesting that I have some ties there. So that's really cool. Wow. Okay, so now there's this timeline. So I scrolled all the way down. Supposedly there's 1% unassigned DNA. So there's just, I guess, a wide range of human diversity, and they can't really assign that to a location. So as I scroll down, it shows my timeline for my ancestry. So supposedly I have some Scandinavian ties from 1970 to 1910. So that would be either parent, grandparent, or great-grandparent who was 100% Scandinavian, which makes sense because, like I said, supposedly my great-grandfather was Swedish, possibly a great-grandparent or second great-grandparent was 100% British and Irish. And they were born between 1880 and 1940. Wow, this is so cool. It looks like I had a great-grandparent, second great-grandparent, or third great-grandparent who was 100% Finnish. And they were most likely born between 1850 and 1910. Same goes with French and German. So a great-grandparent, second great-grandparent, or third great-grandparent who was 100% French and German. And then same with Spanish and Portuguese. Wow. And then it shows as far as my third, fourth, or fifth, or even sixth great-grandparent was 100% European. All right, let's go to health and traits. So, age-related macular degeneration. So it says variant detected, not likely at increased risk. So the thing with this is you have to take the health and traits, or mostly the health thing, with caution. You can't say that it is diagnosing you, and it can detect certain genetic genes that may be found related with cancers. So some people opt not to do this option because, you know, they don't want to know those things. But for me, I want to know. One, I'm interested to see, and two, maybe it's, you know, something that I can look for and be more prepared if there is more risk with me having certain genes and certain health risks. So let me click on that. Okay, so age-related macular degeneration is, I guess, most common cause of irreversible vision loss among older adults. So basically it causes damage to the retina. So I have one of the two genetic variants. My parents have glasses, my grandparents had glasses, so it doesn't say I have a likely increased risk, but it was detected. It does say I have a slightly increased risk for celiac disease, but I have been tested for that and I'm negative, so that's good. And it says I have increased likelihood of type 2 diabetes, which my dad has, so I do know that I have to watch out for that. I'm gonna go to all reports. So as far as alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, not detected. BRCA1, not detected. Chronic kidney disease, not detected. So it looks like those were the only ones that were detected out of my health, out of all the genes, I guess. No carrier. So this is where they would see if you had carrier for like CF, cystic fibrosis. A lot of these I have no idea what they're for. Sickle cell anemia, estrogen, so that's common for lupus patients. As far as my wellness, it looks like I am unlikely to flush with alcohol. I feel like I flush a little bit. I don't drink too much though, so it's hard to say. Caffeine consumption, this is interesting. It says likely to consume less, but I do feel like I do drink a lot of caffeine. Like I go towards soda more than coffee, but that is interesting. It says I'm less likely to be a deep sleeper, and that is definitely true. I am a light sleeper. Yeah, it's very hard not to wake me up if something were to happen. Okay, so moving on to genetic weight, it says I'm predisposed to weigh more than average, which, I mean, it's good to know that, you know, it's genetic, so maybe to watch out for that more. Likely tolerant to lactose, which is true. I don't have any intolerance to lactose. Muscle composition is common in elite power athletes. Now, that's funny because I am definitely not an athlete. I'm gonna click on that because I'm interested to see what it says. So it says that studies have found that almost all elite power athletes, including sprinters, throwers, and jumpers, have specific genetic variant in a gene related to muscle composition, and I have the same genetic variant as these elite athletes. So if I wasn't so much of a klutz, maybe that would help. Okay, now let me go back. Gotta scroll back down. Okay, so saturated fat and weight, likely similar weight, and sleep movement, likely more than the average movement. So much movement during sleep. I cannot sleep still. I don't know how people can stay in one position all night. I have to move around at least 5 times throughout the night. Traits. So I am more likely to be able to match a musical pitch. Don't know really about that. I don't think I can sing on a pitch, but I do really enjoy music. Not sure about the pitch though. Asparagus odor detection, likely can smell. Interesting. Bitter taste, likely can't taste. Okay. Bunions, less likely than average to have had a bunion. Okay, that's true. Likely no dimples, and I have no dimples. Cilantro taste aversion, slightly higher odds of disliking cilantro, which is true. I don't hate it, but it's not my favorite. It depends what I have it on. Likely, I have no cleft chin, and that is true. Dandruff, I'm more likely to get dandruff, which I struggled with as a kid. I did struggle a while ago in college years too, but that's gotten way better. And it says I have likely detached earlobes, which I have attached. I have attached earlobes. Likely wet ear wax. That's just a weird, gross trait that they can figure out just by DNA. So eye color is most likely brown or hazel. So as you can tell, that is correct. I do have some green in it in my eyes, but I feel like the brown definitely dominates the green. As far as fear of heights, I'm more than likely average to be afraid of heights. That's not really so true. Like, I love roller coasters. I've always wanted to bungee jump, not really skydive, but it's funny because I have had to go on ladders for work before, and as soon as I get towards the top, I do kind of get a little antsy, so that is interesting. More likely to have a fear of public speaking, which is so true. I am a huge introvert. I hate public speaking. I dread it. I have so much anxiety over that. So the fact that they caught that with my DNA is very interesting. On to the next one. Likely ring finger is longer, which is not true. It's definitely shorter. More likely than average to have flat feet, which is also not true. I have arched feet. Likely little freckling, which is true. I have little freckles every here and there, but not a lot. More likely to experience hair photo bleaching, which I'm guessing is bleaching in the sun, making it lighter. Let me click on that. Yeah, so based on my genetics and other factors, my hair is more likely to lighten with sun exposure, which is true. You can definitely tell my hair during the summer is a lot lighter than in the winter. And when I was a kid, I was always out in the sun. I had really blonde hair. I mean, of course, your hair changes every 7 years or so, they say. But that part is definitely true. So my hair texture is likely straight or wavy, so it is pretty straight. It does get wavy in the water a little bit, but when it dries, it's definitely straight. It says I am less likely to have thick hair, which is absolutely true. I have really thin hair, especially with the lupus. Okay guys, sorry about that. I just had a phone call and that was really loud, so I had to wait for the phone to stop ringing. But I left off on ice cream flavor, and it said I have a 50-50 chance of preferring vanilla or chocolate ice cream, which is true. I definitely prefer vanilla. I do like cookie dough and mint, but vanilla is definitely a go-to, and then I add toppings in it for flavor. It says I likely have light hair, which is definitely true. This is dyed though, so according to my hairstylist, I have like a really dark blonde hair. It says I am less likely to hate chewing sounds, which is right. I don't hate the sound. I know some people really have a phobia of that, and they just hate that sound. If you're chewing really loudly, that can be a little bit of annoying, but I'm not gonna be like really bothered per se. It says I'm likely to be bitten more often than others for mosquitoes, and I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, I do get bug bites a lot, but not necessarily from mosquitoes. I'm not really around mosquitoes a lot though, so maybe if I was in a different environment, it'd be easier to say. It says I am more likely to experience motion sickness, which I don't think I do when we are traveling in cars and we're going up windy roads. I'm pretty good. I would say that's not really true. And it says I have likely little baby hair. I do have some baby hair towards the front of my scalp, like right here. It says I have no photic sneeze reflex, which I feel like is maybe sneezing in the sun. Interesting, and that is very untrue. I sneeze so much in the sun. It says likely no red hair, which is true. Likely lighter skin. I do have really fair skin. I definitely tan the best and the most on my shoulders, and then I try not to expose my skin too much just because of the sun affecting my lupus. But when I was, in the sun more often before I was diagnosed with lupus, my face was always very pale and my legs were on the paler side, although they were a little bit darker, but my face definitely always stays light. It says I'm more likely to have stretch marks, which, I mean, I do have some stretch marks, but I feel like everybody has stretch marks, so interesting. Okay, this says I likely prefer salty, which is not true. I definitely prefer sweet over salty. It says my big toe is likely to be longer, which is true. Sorry, I had to go check. I forgot. It says likely at least a little unibrow. Not true. I mean, I guess a little bit, but they're all blonde hair, so you can't see it. It says likely to wake up around 8:58. How interesting. I want to click on that. That is not really true. I mean, I definitely like sleeping in. I am a late morning type of person to get up. And it says I'm on average to wake up around 8:58 on my days off. I would say at least after 9:30, depending on, what I have planned for the day. And the last thing was my widow's peak. So it says I'm likely to have no widow's peak, which is not true. As you well, you may not be able to tell with my hair parted, but I do have a widow's peak. So that's pretty much everything. This was a more expensive kit, but oh my gosh, I highly recommend getting it and seeing what your DNA says about you. I've learned so much just in the overview for my ancestry and my health report that I had no idea. So that's really interesting, and I'm interested to see about the relatives, so I'm definitely going to check that out. And I hope you guys enjoyed learning a little bit more about me. At the same time, I'm learning more about myself. If you have any fun history facts about your family and your ancestry, please let me know down below. Like I said, I love learning about ancestry, and even if you've done the 23andMe or Ancestry, I would love to know how your experience was. And if you did like this video, make sure you hit the like button. And don't forget to hit subscribe. I have some more videos planned that are not budget related. There are going to be some DIYs. Hopefully they're going to go better this time. And then I have some holiday related videos soon. So definitely stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.